What is up, my homies, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are back for another episode of the F1 2020 Career Mode Series. My team. It's my team, not yours, not you over there in the crowd. My team. I don't know. I always think that in the back of my mind when I hear my team. It's mine. Anyway, here we are for another episode of my team. And today we are going to be delegating all of the activities towards building the team and driver acclaim. Thank you very much. In terms of the R&D, we're going to go for finally a fuel efficiency upgrade, and that should make things a little bit more lively for us in the race. You can run a lighter car, even lighter than what we are already, and so fuel saving measures will be well, even greater. So I look forward to that. But anyway, heading into this race, we had a whole shed load of upgrades go on the car. Can't remember what was on for this weekend. We did do a chassis upgrade, which did fail. Unfortunately, weight redistribution not being on the car for this round. But we digress. We will amend that for the next episode. Heading into this one, we shoot to the best car once again, and this time clearly ahead of Mercedes. So life is looking pretty good. Ferrari upgrading. Renault have been upgraded. When they do upgrade, they upgrade in massive chunks, and this is another massive step forward for Renault this weekend, not showing in the practice times. Daniel Ricciardo P11, but crucially Marduk Motorsport topping out FP1 with a 1-2, and that is another sponsor goal achieved for us. 1200 odd resource points, which we'll be spending at the start of the next episode. Let's roll on quali. I love my helmet. Is there anyone who doesn't like my helmet? Please let me know. But anyway, here we are for qualifying. I believe Singapore was a race this time last season where we massively outperformed where our car really stood in the performance index. I believe we nearly won this race last season, so we should be on target to hopefully challenge for the win in this one. I think it might be a two-way affair between myself and George Russell fighting over the win. We'll have to wait and see. Q1 was a little bit shaky for me. I did get through on the one lap, but I did hit the wall in the third sector, the Singapore Flyer, or whatever they call it, which kind of cost me a bit of time in the third sector. Overall, it wasn't a very polished lap anyway, but it was good enough to get us through, and that's all that really matters. Q2 now, and we're setting a time on the medium compound tires. I'm taking a chance, and hopefully this will pay off. I'm setting it right at the end of the session, just to make sure that the track is at its best. Track evolution in this place is absolutely ridiculous. Probably the craziest track evolution you'll see all season. And so it's vital to be out there right at the end of the session. If we can get this time and move on to Q3 with this set of tyres, then it's going to set us up really well to win the race. Across the line, it's P16, but it upgrades to P2. Thank you, Codemasters. 8 tenths off my teammate George Russell. Again, confirming the pace that Marduk Motorsport has. Lewis Hamilton down in P11. But Bottas running the same pace, 1.4 seconds off. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Alright, get ready to jump out if you get too hot in there. There's a problem with the cooling system, and it's going to take us a few minutes to correct it.
So that was an interesting Q2 result. We get through on the harder compounded tyre, but a lot of our rivals, they're not really showing their true pace. Like Valtteri Bottas, 1.4 seconds off on the soft compound tyre, and Lewis Hamilton was pretty much that away on the medium. So Valtteri massively underperformed his car, but thankfully he's got Q3 to get it right. He did thankfully get into this session. Lewis Hamilton will be starting in P11 and might be a danger man in the race, starting on the medium, or dare I say it, even the hard compound tyre. He'll be one to watch out for because it's very hard to overtake around this place, and being on a harder compound means you avoid all the traffic at the midpoint of the race. But anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves. This is qualifying we are talking about. We got delayed by 5 or 6 minutes at the start of the session, meaning we only get one timed lap in at the end of the session here, and we are utilizing that now. Absolutely flying through the third sector, absolutely nailing these low-speed corners. The car is very well set up to accommodate for these low-speed corners. Nice rotation. Don't hit the wall there for the final time, thankfully. Across the final corner, absolutely fly through there and up to the line. It's a 1 minute 31.754, which does get us pole position for the Singapore Grand Prix. Just had to hesitate for a second there because you never quite know with Cody's. It was pole position in the end there. And we're just checking George Russell's time because I swear he did a 31 when I checked the results midway through the session. But either way, it's pole position for us. Whoever starts P2, P3, etc. doesn't really matter. They're all opponents. They're all enemies in my eye. And we need to get this win. The form has always been good here, and I want to be able to convert this pole position that we're starting from. Harder compound tyre as well. Everything is just set up for a really good day on Sunday. Let's get it.
Here we go then, it's Formula One in Marina Bay once again, and welcome to all of you at home who join us today for this fascinating race around the baking hot, horribly humid, but very beautiful streets of Singapore. With me today, of course, is Anthony Davidson. They must be starting to feel the pressure at this point, and surely. There's a real shot of the title on the cards here, but one error at the wrong time, well, that could throw it all away.
Of course, there's never a good time to make mistakes, but it will feel 10 times worse if it happens at such a critical point of the season. Let's hope this contest is settled where it should be, on track, wheel to wheel.
Fantastic podium result at the last race. Let's see if we can do it again today.
I'm not really sure what Anthony Davidson is smoking. It kind of sounded like this was the final race of the season and it was all coming down to this. I can assure you that there's still many more races to go in this season, and the title will not be decided here today. But let's do the business. Let's see if we can go as far as we can in terms of winning this race, catching up to the likes of Charles Leclerc in the championship. I think he's only like 5 points ahead of me, so a good round today, and we could be overtaking him and making steady strides towards Valtteri Bottas, who's the best part of about 20 points ahead of me. And we do need to catch up to the Mercedes, who are getting away in the Constructors' standings. Now, in terms of this race, we are doing a 2-stop, medium, soft. Let's do this. 5 red lights, and away we go for the Singapore Grand Prix. Always was a bit nervous getting off the line on a harder compound tyre. Yeah, Valtteri gets through at turn 1. However, race is not decided on the first lap. We've still got 31 laps of this Singapore Grand Prix to negotiate. And this is the longest race of the season, hence why, part of the reason why this video is up so late, because it took me so damn long to get through this race. But otherwise, we will move in this Grand Prix. As you can see, George Russell trying to do just that on me, on the soft compound tyre, having the inside line into there, and not quite taking it all the way into P2. So we hold on for the time being. We're only going to get stronger as this race wears on. Soft compound tyre isn't a good race tyre. It'll die away pretty quickly, especially for the rears. And we just got to be patient, stick in the slipstream. DRS will get enabled on the next lap, and then from there, I think we'll be able to be in a position where we can attack Valtteri Bottas. If you remember this time last season, we were very, very fast, but not great at overtaking. I've kind of compromised a little bit. I've lowered the wings. Last year I was running 9.11, and this race I'm running 7.10. So we should be a better chance of overtaking in a straight line, especially with the recent upgrades from Ferrari, from myself. This should be a little more easy to negotiate, especially now that we get better traction on our harder compounded tyre. But we're really putting the pressure on Valtteri Bottas here. We're all over his gearbox as we go through the third sector. Purple to the second lap, and now life is only going to get tougher for Valtteri Bottas. Now the DRS is enabled up in the rich fuel mixture. Overtake is enabled, and he goes defensive. We're going to go all the way around the outside into the middle sector, and we just about hold on to the racetrack, and we get the lead.
Well done, that's P1. You're leading the race.
Thank you very much, Jeff. He was very excited about that. I like that he's matching my tempo and my enthusiasm in this race. I was actually very happy to get that move done. We did go in really late under brakes, and I was kind of surprised to see how we were able to get Bottas or clear him into the braking zone, just holding on to the racetrack there with the left-hand side tyres. second. No, that's my first warning of the race. Let's minimize those if we can. Faster again on lap 3. Going into the 37s this time. And let's see how close we can get in terms of a fast lap towards the end of this race. I think I did a 31 in qualifying. And we'll be on the soft compound tyre in the final stint. Let's see how close we can get. Team radio.
Bottas is behind you. Okay, the gap behind is 1.7 seconds. They're on old softs. Their tyres are 3 laps old. We think they've got 2 stops remaining. The time last lap was a 1:39.9.
Reason why I'm checking the status of Valtteri Bottas. I just wanted to know how many stops he was going to make in this race. And it looks like for the soft compound tyre runners, they are doing 2 stops. And so that really plays into my favour because they're all going to rejoin in traffic. All the people who started on mediums or hards are all going to jump the leaders. And that's going to strengthen my position in this race even further. But the likes of Leclerc, Hamilton, etc. are signs as well on the medium compound tyre. They're all going to come to the front now because they all either started on the mediums or they qualified outside the top 10 and had free choice of tyre. One person who's not loving life right now is Max Verstappen in the Red Bull out of this Grand Prix. Red Bull has been absolutely woeful in the development race, performance-wise. We can't really see the progress of other teams all too much in terms of durability, but it looks like they're lacking in that as well. So I think a lot of questions have to be asked of Red Bull. Their senior management, they just seem to be going backwards this season, getting overtaken left, right, and centre. And I think that's going to be a consequence in the constructors as well, with one car missing in this race now. But anyway, it's come to the end of my first stint now. I was actually scheduled to come in at the end of lap 11. What I've done is just extended the stint so that I could rejoin in the lead once I made my stop. It was going to be pretty close between myself and Kvyat, but now I'm pretty confident we'll get him even after we make our stop. But it looks like he followed me in basically 20 seconds after anyway, so he's in. And this promotes my teammate George Russell into P2. And then after him, Bottas follows, and then the big pack of cars, including Leclerc, Ricciardo, etc. So, yeah, we are well and truly in control in this race. We didn't get held up by any slower cars at the start of this race, whereas the likes of Bottas and Russell did. And it's only going to boost our position in this race even further. One thing I have been doing in the background, you may not have noticed, is I've actually been looking after the gearbox. Not specifically on this lap, because on this lap I'm actually pushing for quite a fast lap. The fastest lap is currently held by George Russell. I think it's a 37.2. And we are absolutely flying on this one. We're going to see just how much we smash it by as we go up in a rich and overtake. We were using a lot of the engine on this lap. So too with the ARS across the line. And we improved by 2.8 seconds. And that demoralizing performance has just meant that George Russell has rage quit this race. No, that's not quite the case. The car has given up. And that's a real shame. That's a real shame because George was on target for a top 5 in this one. He was buried in a bit of traffic, had a lot of cars to overtake, but he was in front of the likes of Valtteri Bottas in this one. And could have been, that's big points we're going to miss out on, unfortunately. But this race is absolutely flown by. I'm not going to beat around the bush. This was, in terms of like racing other people, this was a boring race. Like nothing happened apart from me overtaking Bottas at the start. The rest of it was spent just circulating, stroking the car along, looking after the gearbox, looking after the tires. Pace was phenomenal today. There's no way around it. I've been extending both of my medium compound stints to the point where I'm only going to do one flying lap on the soft compound tyre just in case there's a Silverstone-like puncture around here. No, the real reason is I just wanted to flaunt this fastest lap even more in the faces of my rivals by having the absolute freshest tyres I could available right at the end of the race with as low fuel as possible, the track rubbered in as much as possible, just to flex the muscles even more. Why not? And win this race in style. We already lead by 12 seconds. It's pretty crazy. It is absolutely ridiculous how fast we are at this racetrack. We massively outperformed the car this time last season, and today it's just been an absolutely dominating performance. We do have one penalty against our name for corner cutting. To be honest, I got a little bit lazy and just let it flow a little bit more. And I racked up a couple of warnings and then a penalty, unfortunately. But I think you can excuse me for that with the lead that we have at the moment. Up by 1.3 seconds as we approach the third sector. We're going to win this race in some style. Let's see if we can dip into maybe the 33s or 30. Oh my god, can we get in the 32s? Can we get within 1 second of our qualifying time? We'll have to wait and find out. We're going to win this race by over 15 seconds. Domination here at Singapore, rounding the final corner, setting the fastest lap on the last lap to take victory here in Singapore.
Absolutely fantastic. It's a brilliant result. Well done.
Unfortunately, I don't know what the fastest lap was, so stay tuned for that. Danny Kvyat with the driver of the day. Good job from him. Big points for AlphaTauri.
A nearly flawless performance here then, and a commanding victory.
Nearly flawless.
And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I think that smart tyre management on track and very smooth driving definitely assisted in their victory today. That combination meant they got the absolute maximum out of their tyres at all times.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way out onto the podium.
Anthony was right about one thing. I was very, very smooth with my driving today. Over the course of a lot of the race, I was using higher gears and I was very, very smooth because I could afford to just back off a little bit. I wasn't like holding back, but I was just driving really smoothly and delicately, and I actually think that might have been helping. I am a self-confessed overdriver on any racing game, and sometimes when I dial it back, I actually go faster. Maybe that was the case here today, but regardless, it's domination here in Singapore. 13-second win. We could have easily won by over 20 seconds. That was how much I was kind of not backing off, but there were some laps where I was like leaving it in 5th gear in the 3rd sector for a lot of it, just to look after the gearbox. The gearbox was over 50%, but otherwise it was a well-managed race. We shoot to the lead of the driver's standings. We lead by 3 points. Very, very happy with my performance on my side of the garage. Unfortunately, George couldn't make it to the end. This is again why we need to work on durability, and this is again another wake-up call, so we will be addressing that at the start of the next episode, constructors-wise. Unfortunately, not making the gains on Mercedes that I would have liked. Still, 34 points is the difference to those guys. We can't be winning constructors if my teammate isn't finishing in races. We can have the fastest car in the world, but if my teammate isn't finishing consistently, it's going to be a problem. So that's an issue which needs to be addressed in future episodes. But guys, that has been this episode for today. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. Singapore is a bit of an outlier. This is always I'd say, on 2020, the best track for the player. And we made full use of that. I feel like this track is more OP for us than Monaco, to be honest. We haven't even won at Monaco yet, so I guess that really puts it in perspective. But I'd expect it to be business as usual, fighting away with the top 3 teams. Of course, my teammate George Russell not having the best strategy today, not finishing the race, obviously made things look a lot more ominous for us than what it was. And we qualified on a harder compounded tyre. We had the pace to do that, to make it into Q3 to begin with. That just shows the amount of dominance that I realized that we had even in Friday practice. So I really tackled this race weekend with a calm mind, and I had a set game plan. We stuck to it, and we capitalized fully by getting the fastest lap as well. Just maximizing the whole weekend. Doesn't get any better than that. I think that was what you call a full house. Pole position, fastest lap, race win. I will take that. Anyway, I'm waffling now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Apologies the video isn't longer, but there was literally no more action than that. But I'm sure there will be plenty more in the next episode, which I believe is the Russian Grand Prix. So stay tuned for that episode, and hopefully I will get that episode out a lot earlier than today's one. Again, massive apologies. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Till the next one, I'll see you next time.